As seen in the Galapagos expedition documentary, scientists were able to venture the seafloor of the Galapagos Islands 3,000 feet below. Through this, scientists were really able to discover and collect new species under the name of science. Not only has technology helped in this expedition, but also the many expeditions before and the coming expeditions in the future. We now know that technology has a great influence on the scientific expeditions and biodiversity-related researches. But what about the Internet of Things? How does the Internet of Things influence these expeditions and researches? Before going into this question, Internet of Things should be clearly defined. According to Merriam-Webster, the Internet of Things is defined as the networking capability that allows information to be sent to and received from objects and devices using the Internet. With this definition, we can assume one thing: that the Internet of Things may, or more importantly, may not require a human to operate it. Going back to the main concern, based from the definition alone, the Internet of Things will greatly be able to influence scientific expeditions and researches greatly. Take for example the time when the scientist from the Galapagos documentary submerged thousands of feet down the sea of the island. She mentions, and I quote, "I can't help thinking, one small crack in the sub's plastic sphere and it's all over." This shows how she fears her end and demise, not just as a researcher or a scientist, but as a living human being in general. The Internet of Things would be able to minimize this fear and risk of losing human life in the name of science by making machines that contain the features of the Internet of Things. Instead of a human-operated submarine, the submarine would be a robot entirely, but can also be manipulated by humans in the surface. This is very much accessible with the kind of technology we have today. Not to mention the robot droids that have been sent to the moon in order to examine and collect minerals present on the moon, and relay the information back on Earth to the headquarters of NASA. Oceanic expeditions should also be able to use the same thing. However, with the presence of the kind of technology we have now, it is mind-boggling to hear the scientists in the Galapagos expedition documentary say that only less than 1% of the Earth's ocean have been explored. Although we haven't attained the technology to explore the entire ocean, at least we are in the right track and have attained at least almost 1% of it.
Well, to conclude everything, we know that IoT is revolving around us, which it helps us track things, send things, do things easier because of IoT. And with this, IoT is really important in biodiversity. It's because we are able to track the extinct ones, which there's an example of this corporation called the B Corp. It offers an interesting solution to this problem using IoT by placing a battery-powered sensor inside the hive. Beekeepers can use that technology to monitor conditions inside it and track the health of the colony. With this kind of IoT, it could really help save the bee colony. Especially we need the honey. Us humans need the honey for us to, instead of using sugars, we use honey to eat things so that we could have a healthier life. And in IoT can really make the world a better place and also gather the data for the future of our children to know what are the kinds of animals that are not yet extinct or to become extinct.
Next to the classic law.